Greetings and welcome. My name is Dr. Akmal Muwakil, and I'd like to invite you to let's have a conversation about health. In this particular segment, I want to talk about summer and the elements that balance summer that help the body to increase not only its immunity, but its ability to maintain health. See, we live in a society where we don't deal with and think about the seasonal change except for a change in our clothes because of the environment as the environment changes. That environment that changes also changes in your body. And each one of your organs deals with that change. Each season, a set of organs are at their peak. And so that's the time when you either cleanse them, you balance them, you nourish them, or like in the springtime, you detoxify them. So that what happens is that through the seasons, your body functions in such a manner where it's going to work well for you and carry you healthily through that season. So right now we're in the season of summer. So the organs of summer are the heart, the small intestines, the pericardium, and the triple heater, okay, which we call the three burning spaces in traditional Chinese medicine, which is the pelvis, the abdomen, and the chest. So those are peak organs during the season, but they're nourished by the liver and the gallbladder, and they're controlled by the kidney and the bladder, which means that all of those organs I just mentioned are part of how to balance the body in the summertime. And when you begin to look at that and understand that, you then understand how to eat foods. Because there are certain foods that you're eating right now that you think are good for you that are actually poisoning you. Yeah, that's right, poisoning you. Because of the fact that they're out of their season. If you're still eating the same foods that you ate last winter, you're eating foods that in the wintertime would be maybe alkaline, but during the summertime, they're acidic. See? This is the season when you're supposed to build your blood, because the digestive tract in the summertime is at its full optimum and it's rolling. This is the time when the small intestines, which is where we get our nutrients from, okay? This is the time when that's functioning at its optimum. You know, everybody's talking about probiotics, that kind of thing now. Nobody's talking about the whole digestive system. That is a system. And when that system works well, then what happens is that the body will function like it should. When the small intestines isn't functioning properly, then the body's not functioning because now the blood's not getting the nutrients that it needs. The small intestines is where we get the nutrients from the foods that go into the blood. So during this season, this is its season. The summer is its season. So this is the season to make sure that your gut or your small intestines is functioning to its optimum. That's why the foods that you eat during the summer should be cool. They should be watery. They should be full of nutrients. Okay, so that the small intestines can extract that and send it into your blood, so that in the autumn, the lungs can invigorate, rejuvenate, and oxygenate your blood to reduce and or eliminate any type of pathogen that would cause health disharmonies. So when you start to look at that, what are you looking at? You're looking at the fact that if you create that balance for your body during that time, you will find that during the fall and the winter, you won't have colds, cough. You may not have colds, coughs, or flus because you've put the right foods in. Because when we go into fall, the foods change. Because the foods grow differently during each season, and they pick up different kind of energy. The heart's job is to be able to allow the chi, which is energy, to move the blood so that the blood flows through the blood vessels, because it controls the blood vessels and it controls and governs the flow of blood. That's its job. See? So during the summer is a time when we reinforce the blood and get the blood prepared for its cleansing and detoxifying in the winter and the spring. See, because in the wintertime, it goes deep into the bones, where the bones filter out the toxins, so that in the summertime, in the springtime, the liver can then begin to detoxify the blood because it stores it. You see? So when you start to talk about that, you're talking about the interaction between the organs and the organ network. In traditional Chinese medicine, in Ayurvedic medicine, in African medicine, we find that a lot of them deal with the fact of how the organ network functions together and how they function with the seasons. Because if you allow for them to function with the seasons, what happens is they build the body. This is the time to build the immune system, because you're building digestion. And let me say this about digestion, because a lot of people are talking digestion, but they ain't talking about digestion. Because digestion, think about this. Where does digestion start? Where does it start? Digestion doesn't start in the body. It really doesn't. And I'm going to leave that in case you come to my class, then I can explain it to you. But the chemistry of digestion starts, well, it doesn't start in the mouth. It is contributed in the mouth. Okay? Because what happens is that when you eat something, your mouth has to determine whether it's a fat, it's a starch, it's sugar. Okay? So your mouth, or a protein, so your mouth has to do that. Then your stomach comes involved in that. Its chemistry starts to say, well, what is this? Can I break it down before it gets down into your small intestines? See, each one of them break a different chemical down so that your body can function. The mouth breaks down starch. The stomach breaks down one of them senior moments. the stomach breaks down protein, and the small intestines breaks down starch, breaks down sugars and fats, lipids. That's what that breaks down. And so when you eat foods, your body is trying to break those down. And so if you're eating foods that, one, are out of season, and two, that are in a bad combination, because some of the combinations that people are eating, I'm like, oh my God, do they really understand what they're doing to their digestive tract? So this is the time to really build the digestive tract. And building the digestive tract is a piece that you have to understand, because that's about how your body is going to receive nutrients. Yeah, you might be eating organic food, and you might be a vegan, and all of those happy things, and that's good. But if you doing several things, if you're a vegan, for instance, and you're craving starches or sugars, that's malnutrition. If your belly is protruding, your belly here, that's not your stomach. Your stomach is here. That's your belly. That's your small intestines. If that's protruding, then that means that you're constipated. That means that your food's not leaving every 8 to 24 hours. the food that you just ate. And the next time you go to the doctor and the doctor says that this is your stomach, tell the doctor stop lying to you, because that's not your stomach. That's your small intestines. The small intestines has two basic jobs. Okay, it separates and it spreads. It separates the waste from the nutrients, and it spreads the nutrients into the blood, and it spreads the waste byproducts into the bladder and the large intestines. And in some cases, it can spread it to the skin, because the skin is the largest detoxing organ in the body. On the body, the inside of the body, it's the liver. So the small intestines has a great job, but it only can do its job if the mouth, the stomach are able to break down the foods chemically in the manner that they should. Check this out. You're a chemist. That's right, you're a chemist. I know you don't have PhD in it and all of that kind of thing, but you're a chemist, because your body is a chemistry factory. Every time your elbow bends, and your mouth flies open, you're dealing with chemistry. Every time you think about something, the clothes that you wear, all of that's about chemistry. The jewelry that you wear, all of that's about chemistry. So you're a chemist. So you got to understand the chemistry of your body in order to keep it healthy. You got to understand that you're part of this planet. And as you being part of this planet, you are also part of the season changing. When you eat, for instance, when you eat tropical fruits and foods, unless that's native to you, what happens is that they should be eaten in the summertime, unless you're using them for medicine. Okay. Why? Because they're foods that cool the body, especially if it's coming from a tropical place that's warm. And people who live on islands and places of that nature, they become more healthier when they don't eat that garbage that we eat in this country. When they stick to the foods that are grown in their habitat, what happens is that we don't see diabetes. We don't see malnutrition, because each season they're eating the foods that grow. When they get outside food, that's when they start to have issues. And when they come to this country, to Turtle Island, which we call now the United States of America, when they come to this country and they start to eating that crap that has been pushed in this society, they start to have all of these kind of illnesses that we see. When you build the small intestines, probiotics is one of those. Okay? And that probiotic, if you're eating yogurt for probiotic, that yogurt should not have any fruit in it, because the lactobacillia and the bifidus that's in there is fighting against sugar. How you going to, it's sitting in there, you don't know how long it's sitting in there. How you going to eat that and expect it to work if it's been fighting with this sugar all the time it's in this container? Don't make no sense. It don't work. If you eat yogurt, it should be something like Greek yogurt, or it should be bitter and sour. Shouldn't be sweet. Because your small intestines has bacteria that helps to break down your food. And it builds bacteria that help your blood. There's a chemical that happens in, or that develops in your small intestines called glutathione. Look it up. Glutathione. Glutathione is a very powerful antioxidant that research has shown it can prevent breast cancer, and it contributes to the reduction of Alzheimer's because of the fact of its relationship to the brain. Those are the kind of things you should be putting into your system, like vitamin D. You know, vitamin D is real interesting. You know, a lot of people take 50,000, 5,000. The standard, I didn't make the standard, but the standard for it, if you research it, says 400 to 800 IUs, international units. When you put too much of it in, yeah, they'll say, it ain't gonna bother you. But it's going to displace other minerals and nutrients that it has to come in contact with that helps it to absorb. So when you take vitamin D, you have to take calcium, magnesium, vitamin C, and boron. In order for it, and magnesium, in order for it to get into the system. See, because if you don't, then what happens, you don't get 100% of it. This is the time, the summer is the time to put it in. To put it in so that in the wintertime, when it's needed, and the sun's not well, and it's not high in the sky, especially here in the U.S., then what happens is that you don't become deficient in it. And vitamin D is one of them that helps you to fight cancer, as well as osteoporosis. So everybody's going out and buy D3. When you buy that D3, make sure that D3 has calcium, magnesium, vitamin C, and boron in order for it to get into your system. Because if it's not, then you're not going to get 100% of it. And if your digestive tract is off, you may get 40 to 50%. The summertime is the time to establish your digestion. That's the time to really function on your digestion. You shouldn't eat a whole lot of hot foods. And I don't mean, I'm not talking cooked. Well, you should eat cooling foods. Foods that's going to provide you with nourishment. Because of the fact that this is a hot season. So you want to balance the temperament. Because all foods have temperaments. I've got a course coming up talking about food and their temperament within their seasons. So you would only add a food that has a hot temperament if you're working to get something from it that's going to help the body. For instance, onions and garlic. Well, what do you want out of that is sulfur. That's one of the elements you want out of it is sulfur, because sulfur helps clean the blood. So if you dealing with it in that manner, what happens? What begins to happen is that now your blood is starting to be cleaned. But it's being cleaned not because the hotness of the two. And you know, if you eat garlic will bring tears to your eyes because it can be so hot. But when you eat those, what happens is that now you're dealing with the factor of getting that sulfur. Ginger, the same thing. However, you have to understand dry ginger from raw ginger or fresh ginger, because they have two different elements. One has to deal with coolness, the other has to deal with heat. See, so when you start to look at food, you got to look at food and how they function within the seasons. You should understand the factor that there are certain beans that you would eat now because of what they do. Beans have a little more acidicness than vegetables. And their acidicness is because of that protein. But you have acid in your body. Your body is full of acid. Your stomach, parts of your small intestines. So you can't go strictly alkaline. If you do, you'll die. Too much alkalinity can cause the same problems as too much acid. So you have to balance the both of them. I talk about that in my course. So that you have an understanding about how to begin to create the balance of acid and alkaline. And summer is a great time to do that. The summer's preparing you for fall and winter. In fall, what are you doing? You're oxygenating the blood. That's through the lungs and the large intestines. So you're oxygenating blood and you're getting rid of waste. In the winter, you're extracting the waste byproducts from the blood and reinforcing the DNA and the stem cells, which are in your bones, which have to do with the kidneys, which rule the bones, and the winter. See? So when you start looking at eating within the seasons and cleansing within the seasons, it helps you to reestablish your health. So I pray that you take a look at that and see if it works for you. Yeah. And join me in my class on Monday, August 31st from 7 to 9 with Cleansing Within the Seasons health course. It's a 4-week course. It's 4 Monday nights from 7 to 9, starting on the 31st. And through that course, you will learn more about how the seasons function and how the organ network functions. What foods you should be eating when, what some of their chemistry is. And I would say you should take the course because you're working to be healthy and understanding. So I would invite you to my course, okay, Cleansing Within the Seasons, health course for the autumn, Monday, October 31st, from 7 to 9 p.m. on Zoom. You can go to my website, www.healenarts.net, and register. On my website, you can also find out more about who I am. I've been doing Chinese medicine since 1974. I have a PhD in nutrition. Matter of fact, my thesis is a book called The Sweet Mysteries of Life, a handbook to naturally reduce and or eliminate diabetes mellitus. I've studied here in the United States, in China, and in Canada. So join me on Monday night, August 31st, from 7 to 9 p.m. on Zoom for Cleansing Within the Seasons through the art of Cleansing Within the Seasons healthy lifestyle course. Okay? Because that's what it is. It's a lifestyle course. It's getting you ready for what's coming, especially with this coronavirus. It's going to be devastating during the fall and the winter. I pray that you and your family are well. Be well. Enjoy your life as you begin to walk peacefully in health. My name is Dr. Akmal Muwakil. Be well.